Part of it, we do have to give credit where credit is due, is that IG weren't getting picked off. Like, they got picked off so much in the early to mid game, but then they really buckled down. They got the gem up on the Beastmaster. They roamed as a pack. They started giving the gyrocopter more farm priority. They allowed Joe to get his next big items. So I feel like a lot of it was IG played well, but Orange, if they played it right, if they split pushed more, if they took Roche as soon as possible instead of 5 minutes later, and if they were more selective in their engagements, could have taken that game. They had 8 lives in that fight. And they just threw them all away. Mushi buys back, TP's in, immediately dies again. Could have been split pushing. The creeps were at the base on the top lane and the mid lane.
Right. I think all they need to do was like force a buyback on Nakes and then just like try and take a fight without him, or just split push him to death with Manta Style. He got Manta Style really, really late. And I mean, damage is nice, but not when you have to constantly run away. He just had to run away from Nakes every single fight, and it hurt him a lot.
Lest we beat this horse to death. Well, it might already be dead. We'll pass it over to Purge and Blitz. Guys, your thoughts on game 1?
Horse is gone, man. It's so beaten to death.
Even
carcass.
the guts are gone now.
Well, we got the bones at least. IG surprisingly takes the game. It looked really over, at least by the 10-minute mark. You even mentioned to me, you're like, oh yeah, well, IG's going to lose this one. And it looked like the same to me. But, I mean, Orange's early ganks were so phenomenal. Their ganks with the Nerubian Assassin were fantastic. They killed Joe twice in a row on his gyrocopter on the bot lane. You said, oh, they took the tier 2 tower. They opened up the jungle. Like, you can't even support TP to that. They did such a good job shutting down a lot of their core heroes.
I did say all those things, and I think the big thing too was, as Merlini stated, I think there is such a thing as over farming. It felt like at that point he was farming and it was like redundant, and what it was doing was it was taking away farm from the Dragon Knight. I know that the Nature's Prophet ult, it was meant to push in the lanes, but he took everything. I mean, he was taking the jungle. Every time I saw the Dragon Knight try to jungle, Mushi's ult was hitting everything, and I think the decision to go Manta too was a little bit wonky considering the gyrocopter was there and he was clearing things pretty quickly, and I think a BKB would have been better suited for Mushi, or maybe just kind of say, you know what, maybe it's time to go for Divine. And also that engagement at bottom when he ran in and tried to go for that Shadow Demon, if he had been able to actually, it looked like he kind of got like stuck for a second, but if he had been able to get all 3 hits off on the Shadow Demon, that should have been an easy kill.
Yeah, pretty much any time he got initiated on, well, that wasn't really the case. He never got initiated on, at least from what I saw. But in the team fights, if he got disabled or slowed, whether that was open wounds or demonic purged, he knew that he wasn't going to move for like 5 seconds, and he was going to get disabled and most likely auto attack down. If he would have dropped, like at the end of the game, he got open wounds once, he popped the BKB, and he got out of it. And it was like, okay, cool, well, he stopped the disable. If he would have done that on an earlier team fight rather than sitting on that 6,000 gold, maybe he would have been able to stay alive and score a kill. So, yeah, that's how the game ends. IG plays a really fantastic game. After the early stage, they ended up taking it really, really late, and the Nature's Prophet carry is obviously not as much as a wide plethora of typical carries. So congrats to IG taking game 1 there. Pretty impressive win for them. So can they take game 2? We will see after a break. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is Beyond the Summits coverage. Beyond the Summits coverage of the Alienware Cup. That was Merlini and LD casting. We are Persian Blitz. LDZ casting. I'm so sorry, guys. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 of IG versus Orange Esports, brought to you by Beyond the Summit. It's the Alienware Cup, sponsored and supported by Alienware, as well as MasterCard and DPM Interactive. I'm LD. I'm joined here by Merlini. How you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. I'm excited for the second game. I mean, that game was just very, very close. I feel like first 15 minutes of the game belonged to Orange, last 45 belonged to IG.
Right. And, well, we'll hop into game 2 now. The draft underway. It's going to be a Batrider first ban by IG. Pretty standard stuff from them. Beautiful production value. Thank you very much, Sergio, for all your hard work, and Kawa for making it look fluid and organized on the screen for us. So we'll see pretty standard bans so far. The one thing that's interesting is they have not banned the Obsidian Destroyer and they have not banned Windrunner. So IG, they'll ban the OD here, but if Orange want to pick up that Windrunner and run their kind of patented signature aggressive tri-lane, they definitely have that option. But Merlini's not listening to me because he's busy.
Of course I'm listening.
He's busy betting.
OD and Windrunner.
He's busy betting rares.
I can't.
On the match.
I can't even try and bet. I've tried so long, but it's just
The
not
fix
working.
is in. Merlini's getting paid off by Dota 2 Lounge.
Well, I don't think they're going to ban out Furion just because
Hashtag rigged.
they're not scared.
Hashtag somebody called the Merlini police, but we can't because the Merlini police are the
You're
they're
so
corrupt.
funny,
They're
LD.
corrupt. Merlini police are corrupt. What do you do now? Who are
You
you
can't
gonna
bribe
call?
me.
Who are you gonna call?
I'm not a Russian police officer. I can't get bribed. I mean, you can try.
You're betting rares on a game you're casting.
I didn't even bet.
You're
I'm not playing. Okay.
All right. Well, RNG Sports first picked the Visage. This hero wins a lot. Extinct. The last time I had a chance to look at his record was 12-1 on Visage. I think he may have played a few more games since then, but point is, he's good at the hero.
The hero's ridiculous. It just like straight up just wins triple lanes alone.
I know the best way to kind of deal with it, I've talked to Winter about this a lot, is get a Chen or an Enchantress and just pressure the Visage's lane really early. He thinks it's the most effective way to shut the hero down in the laning stage, but if you don't and you let Visage get an early level 6, the game gets very difficult. Familiars do so much work in the mid game.
I want to see more try-on-try action. I mean, it seems like Chinese teams just like to put the carry in the safe lane and just farm, and then we see a lot of action in the 20 to 25 minute mark of the game. But I mean, I personally like seeing action through all phases of the game. But Invictus Gaming will pick up Enchantress and Lifestealer. I think that Lifestealer was played very excellently last game and just made very few mistakes, so I think it's a very important core hero for IG.
Yeah, apparently the two Maims from Heaven's Halberd as well as Sanji Yasha actually stack, which is kind of awkward and weird to say the least, but
sometimes you just need to buy a lot of items just to like push you through that mid game. If you try and
get
save,
over the hump, basically.
Yeah, if you save for a big ticket item, you're just gonna die and never get there. So you might as well just invest in like a quarterstaff, like the gyrocopter did. I mean, I thought the game was like very, very close to being completely lost for them at that point. And I mean, it seems like you're grasping for straws if you're trying to farm an Eagle Horn when it took you 20. I think he got it in like 20 minutes farming his BKB, and you know that cost 3,900 gold. So farming another 3,300, it's when you're that far behind is it's quite a long shot. So I think it's actually smart of them to pick up these very cheap items. A lot of Sanges for Lifestealer, so he doesn't die during a rage. I think that's very, very important. And he was just able to man mode on like the Dragon Knight as well as the Furion for most of the game, even with minimal items. So again, Lifestealer, excellent pickup by them. Darkseer will look like the counter pick from Orange.
Yeah, fantastic choice against Enchantress and Lifestealer. Unless they get a Dark Troll Warlord and a Centaur, there's no way you're killing the Darkseer. I like what IG have done, though. They've picked up Enchantress and Lifestealer, and they can run an aggressive tri-lane. They can put pressure on this Visage early. Delay is level 6. If you dive with the creeps, it's hard for Visage to do anything because he's basically running for his life. You focus him first, and he can't get off multiple soul assumptions.
Max Gravekeepers.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that, buddy.
Darkseer was pretty much our only saving grace for team fights last game, and Orange like really drafted for a split push strategy, but they played it like a 5-on-5, which is a very strange execution by them. So I'm curious to see whether they're going to actually like play a 5-on-5 team, pick a 5-on-5 team and play it as a 5-on-5, or draft similarly to last game and play it a lot differently. But again, Visage is already a different hero that we see, and we may see a aggro versus or triple versus triple.
I'd be shocked if IG don't ban Anti-Mage here because they showed that when they ban the Anti-Mage, Orange are kind of put in this awkward position. So I expect IG will ban AM here, and they're going to force Orange Esports to win without having the best split pushing carry in the game at their disposal. I mean, maybe you could say PL's better, but he needs a little bit more help early to get the ball rolling. So for the time being, IG...
Man, they were really scared of that OD Windrunner that you're talking about.
Well, I'm a little surprised Orange didn't go for the Windrunner here. I thought like they would, because the thing is, they love to run Windrunner, Visage +1, because nobody can farm against that tri-lane. 2 600 range heroes plus whatever the third hero is, a lot of nuke damage, a lot of killing potential. You shut down the enemy safe lane farmer, usually a melee hero or a short range hero like a Gyro, an anti-mage, a Phantom Lancer, and they'll ban the anti-mage here, pretty expected and smart ban from IG. I like how they're forcing Orange to play differently and taking them out of their comfort zone, but
Why couldn't they just pick up AM earlier, though? Like, if it's that important to the lineup, they could just pick it in, like, the first phase, let's say.
yeah, I mean, I guess they looked at IG's draft and they saw 0 reliable stuns, and they said, well, we can get Darkseer now, and he can get a fast mech, so is that really worth it over having access to an anti-mage? I feel like Orange maybe should... I would have liked to see them either go Windrunner or anti-mage, because I think their Windrunner tri-lanes just work better, and if they're not as concerned about how the tri-lane looks, then you get the anti-mage, and against Enchantress Lifestealer, he's probably not going to die.
Right, I feel like there are other heroes you can build around an anti-mage, but like Darkseer fits in most lineups, which I guess is good for flex, but if they're really comfortable with running one strategy, and it really depends on like 1 or 2 heroes, I think they should really pick one of those 2 heroes, because again, they looked like a little bit out of form last game and slightly uncomfortable.
It was like schizophrenic, basically. Like they drafted one way, then they played a different way.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I feel like that if they had an anti-mage instead of Prophet, they would just like dominated them.
Yeah, that wouldn't have even been close.
Right,
If Mushi got that much farm on a safe lane anti-mage, game would have been over easily with the kind of start that Orange Esports had. But Alchemist will be the choice for IG. Generally, the Chinese teams favor a solo mid-alch. He builds a mech early. He maxes the unstable concoction first, and he's your utility hero. He's not a hard carry until the game goes 40, 50 minutes. But with a Lifestealer alch, we could see a safe lane alch potentially. We could see a farming alchemist. It's completely wide open, but I think most likely we'll see an off-lane lifestealer here for IG, probably in the hands of YYF. And then the main question is, will Zhou play the alch or Zoe and take it safe lane, or will it be a 430 solo mid alch, which is what I'm expecting.
So it may seem a little bit greedy that IG's picking like 2 carries and like farm dependent heroes, but we saw how well they did with it last game. They had Gyrocopter as well as Lifestealer, and both heroes seem to get like decent amount of farm and contribute in like most stages of the game. So I think that Asian Dota team tends to play like a little bit safer, and I think that Orange may pick up 2 carry, sort of like last game they had DK as well as Furion, although I think that it would have been a little bit better if DK got a little bit more farm than he did last game.
A little bit more. Dude,
a lot more.
Mushi was 6 slotted, had 10k gold or something like that, and Popback died again. I think he was sitting helplessly on 4k. I would say a lot more than a little bit.
Yeah, but IG seems much better about like splitting their heroes and like putting them in the appropriate role and getting the appropriate farm with whatever hero and lineup it may be. But Orange, no hard carries at the moment. It looks like Visage, Darkseer, and Sand King. And LD's a Sand King and Treant Protector, Tri-Lane Hater.
That's not true. I love Sand King.
I said Sand King, Treant Protector, Tri-Lane Hater. You hate those 2 together.
I hate those 2 in an aggressive tri-lane, because what do you do with that? Sand King can't even initiate against most heroes unless they're idiots and walk up to him.
Sandstorm Leech Seed, that AoE.
Stop it. Stop it. Go home, Merlini. You're drunk. IG, 4th pick now will come out. They obviously need some supports here. Alchemist can play support. Mouse Sports like to do that, but we've never seen the Chinese team do it.
Vengeful.
They'll go Vengeful Spirit. Heavy dual roam emphasis now with Enchantress, Vengeful Spirit. Great pick-off potential. Very weak team fight for IG, so they're really looking for their bread and butter to be lots of early pickoffs, spread the map, get an early advantage, and snowball.
They have the minus armor though, and you really have to take that into consideration. If they pick up like a Shadow Friend last, it could be like a really early.
Did you call him Shadow Friend?
I always call him Shadow Friend.
He's like the least friendly looking dude you'll ever see.
That's because you just put him out like that.
He struts around so arrogantly.
You're making him a villain.
We need to take him down a few pegs. He means Shadow Fiend, for those of you who are new to Dota 2.
Shadow Friend. I mean, minus armor. This has been a strategy that's been around for quite a while. I've actually seen it with Kunkka a few times too, and it really has to do with the mass AoE minus armor. You have -6 from the acid spray. I think -5 from Wave of Terror. Let me double check that. Yeah, -5 from that, and then if you have anything else, President of Dark Lord or Medallion, any Desolator from Lifestealer, the physical damage is just ridiculous, and Roshan just drops in like, I don't know, less than 10 seconds probably. But
ridiculous indeed.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I love the way you say that. RNG Sports, they'll go for the puck here. That'll be their solo mid. And now my question is, will we see Mushi go back to the mid lane? Orange is a team that will randomly just change the roles in the middle of a match if they're not happy with their results. They put Mushi on the carry role the past few games. Before that, he was playing solo mid. Before that, he was playing carry. They've moved Ohio as well as KYXY around. KYXY played carry at one point. Ohio was often soloing off lane, and then they were running exclusively aggressive tri-lanes. Which RNG Sports are we going to see here? Well, the jury's still out for that one. They don't have the hard carry yet. That'll probably be the last pick. Could be something like a Luna. Gyrocopter is banned. The other option that they've often run in the past is Lone Druid, but I don't know
what
what
happened
Bear
to Lone
does this
Druid?
game against all this minus
What
armor.
happened to that guy? He was like first pick in Asian game, like if not first ban.
He still had some decent results when I've seen Orange play him, because KYXY usually plays a safe lane solo Lone Druid and the aggressive tri-lane, so Lone Druid gets a 1v1, and against most heroes, he still does pretty well 1v1.
Right.
Obviously, his off lane is a lot weaker and riskier because the bear gives up 300 gold bounty when it dies, but I think Orange is one of the few teams that if they want to run a Lone Druid, absolutely could.
Right. I mean, and IG doesn't have that much anti-push right now. I feel like they're very vulnerable to just like 5-man, just like a lot of early pressure before Alchemist and Lifestealer get their items. Because Enchantress and Vengeful, what are they going to contribute to team fight? Swap like 600 around 600 range at level 1. It's not the best early game. You really need that level 11 to start making really great use of it. But again, I'm curious to see as to what they're going to pick 5th, because Vengeful Spirit is a very uncommon hero in competitive, and picking her 4th may mean something stranger for 5th.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that last hero is. I imagine they want something self-sufficient, though, because when you have Venge and Enchantress, you really want to roam and gank a lot early. You're not the strongest laning.
They want like a Darkseer. I think a Darkseer would be, Weaver maybe? Weaver would work well. Minus armor?
Obviously, it won't be the Darkseer because that's on Orange.
I feel like that would work like
that
amazingly
strong,
to light up.
elusive solo. They'll go Queen of Pain. That fits the bill in a pinch. And now it looks like a one-position safe lane Alchemist. Queen of Pain probably to go mid, and then a Lifestealer. Well, off-lane solo Lifestealer, maybe a part of a tri-lane. But Enchantress and Venge likely to do a lot of early ganking, a lot of early roaming. Thing is, though, if they can't really gank these solos. It's a Darkseer and a Puck. I mean, can you actually kill those heroes? Very hard to do it. Very easy to phase shift dodge the Magic Missile from Vengeful Spirit. And I'm not sure who they'll be able to kill. Maybe the tri-lane supports, the Visage, the Sand King. But
right. You got Sandstorm,
the solos won't be vulnerable.
Gravekeepers.
Even those are not the easiest supports to kill.
Yeah.
Visage is pretty tanky, too.
Yep, they're both pretty good.
So what's the carry going to be for Orange?
Spectre!
Oh, man. I love this Orange draft.
This hero is awesome.
I feel like if IG doesn't just absolutely butcher them in the laning stage, they're so screwed in the mid game.
He's a new PL, kind of.
Yeah. Like, first of all, you're playing against late game Spectre. Then on top of that, you're playing against Spectre with Darkseer on his team. And when you Ion Shell Spectre, the hero gets like 10 times stronger in the early to mid game. On top of that, they can surge him. And then their team fight. Dream Coil, Spectre haunts in. Everyone's silenced. They eat an orb to the face. There's Soul Assumption splashing through. How is IG possibly going to live through that?
Did they not ban Keeper of the Light either? I'm just surprised that hero wasn't picked up.
Yeah, team's just ignoring him. He got banned in game 1, but
yeah, whatever. I'm glad to see new heroes. Spectre, I think.
Keeper of the Light is a boring hero.
Yeah, he's very boring.
He's a very boring
Spectre
hero.
is pretty exciting because like a lot of teams try and pressure him a lot early, but he's actually much more durable than most agility carries are. At one point in Dispersion, I think puts you at 12% mitigation from that. 10%, and I mean he just scales incredibly well with items.
It seems my keyboard started working again. Fantastic. was frozen there for a second, but we'll introduce the teams now, Merlini. It's Invictus Gaming leading this best of 2, 1-0. It's your group stage matches, your second day of action for Group B, or second to last day of group stage action, I should say, for the Alienware Cup. Brought to you by Beyond the Summit. We'll have YYF on the off-lane Lifestealer, starting with the Stout Shield, building very defensively, expecting to be up against a pretty obnoxious harassment heavy lane. 430 going mid is that Snowball solo, the Queen of Pain. He's been pulled 2 sets of regen by Chuan. Speaking of Chuan is now going to 6th. He's told the organizer DPM that he refuses to use the name Chuan unless he wins a championship. So if he wins the Alienware Cup, maybe he'll go back to Chuan. I don't know if he counts this tournament as championship worthy. We'll have to wait to find out. Joe on the Alchemist. You keep on telling me it's Zoe, but a lot of other people who speak Chinese have told me otherwise, Merlini, so
I don't know.
We'll leave it to the chat to flame both of us. Last but not least, Faith will be playing the Vengeful Spirit.
Yep, and on the side of Orange, we have Extinct on the Visage, Net on the Sand King, Mushi on the Farming Spectre, KYXY on the Puck, and Ohai on the Darkseer. So it looks like both teams will be dodging the aggressive triple lane, and with Spectre, you're really forced into the defensive triple lane. And I guess that's like the one really bad thing about Spectre. Her Achilles heel is her early game. You're forced to put it in a like very defensive position. It's very hard to go aggressive. Not really that great at early game, except by staying alive with Spectral Dagger running away through trees, and 1 point of dispersion up for that mitigation and reflection. So looks like they have cleared out the trees, and they are in a very good position to pull and secure a lot of farm for the Spectre on bottom, as well as for Zoe on the Alchemist on top.
I'll go back to what I briefly touched on earlier. What is this Enchantress Venge combo gonna do? I mean, I suppose Venge does benefit a lot from levels, but when you pick this combo, you really want to find some early kills. How are they going to kill a puck mid? I just don't see that happening unless KYX...
I mean, they can smoke around and kill the Darkseer, though. They already have 1 point of Unstable Concoction up on the Alchemist. They have this ward over here. Oh, it looks like they're going to start getting some harass on. But Darkseer is not going to hit level 2 for quite some time, especially with the amount of pulling that's been going on. But I feel like they could kill him I mean, they could easily kill him at level 1 just because he doesn't have Surge right now. But even with Surge, I think they could Magic Missile into any sort of disable, whether it be the Unstable Concoction from the Alchemist or a Net or a Centaur Stomp. I think they could just easily get first blood up there.
Well, if he stays in the lane, the question is it better for Ohio just to leave this lane? He didn't get a quick level 2.
They have no smoke on IG, actually.
He's kind of zoned out. So, yeah, IG, no smoke. I guess they're prioritizing getting the early levels, but there's a Dark Troll Warlord up, and I feel Ohio would just be much better off maybe in the jungle. But Orange in general, with their offlane solos for Ohio, whether he plays Prophet or Darkseer, whatever the hero is, they really put emphasis on him basically being a sacrificial lamb. He'll try to slow down the enemy carry however possible, whether it's blocking pull camps for the supports of the enemy team with Treants, whether it's just Ion Shell spamming the creep wave. And I guess Joe is missing a few last hits. He's 7-2 to the 9-1 of Mushi. So still pretty even, but safe lane Alchemist, maxing Greevil's Greed. I guess they don't want to give him free farm.
Yep, and both heroes in mid relatively even on farm, and both of them getting pulled a little bit of regen. I think Ferrari got pulled 2 sets of regen to KYXY's 1, but still very even matchup in middle. Sinking picks up an illusion rune. We may see some action in middle.
An Invis rune. Net's going to walk in. I was like, wait a second.
There's the flask.
Yep, the 430 is going to salve up. Net could burrow strike in right now. This might be enough to get the kill. Gets off 1 auto attack. Then he jumps in. 430 trying to jump away. KYXY didn't have the silence. Doesn't even need it. The auto attack follows him. Finds the kill.
Wow, that was very
beautifully
close.
played.
I actually advocate for the 1-1-1 build on Puck. He almost got away because he didn't have 1 point in Waning Rift, and with a not too recent but like decent buff to him, it was like 0.75 seconds for level 1 of silence as opposed to 0.1. That would have definitely secured the kill, but very, very close first blood there.
So this is interesting. IG, they have an offlane Lifestealer. He's level 3, and you compare that to the offlane Darkseer. Normally, Darkseer one of the strongest offlanes in the game, and I think for most people, generally they view him as stronger than Lifestealer. He's still not getting anything, so IG definitely coming out ahead there. They gave up a first blood, but they do have a free farm safe lane Alchemist, and I guess if you're going to give up free farm to a Spectre, Max Greevil's Greed Alch is maybe enough to make up for it, along with the Lifestealer getting a lot out of the offlane.
Yep, but I mean, the Alchemist is forced to tank a lot of damage in the form of Ion Shell. He's actually almost out of regen, but I think he'll hit level 6 pretty fast, and if he decides to go for the Battle Fury build that some people decide to go, then that will easily keep him top. But I mean, he has to deal with Ion Shell, and it's not that easy for him to farm right now, and again, they're trading levels on Darkseer for a loss in Alchemist farm, and it's starting to show a little bit now. 22 last hits for, as opposed to 6 last hits for the Spectre.
It shows for the time being. Of course, every minute you delay that Battle Fury is precious because it's like the afterburners go on once he picks that up. Top rune, we'll see Ohio rotate there, looking for a spawn. He won't find one. The rune's actually going to spawn bottom. It'll be a haste, and it looks like 430 is going to claim this. He heads down. No, a burrow strike through Net. Great rune control. Already level 4. Perfect pulling from him.
Oh, he waited for the blink.
And he's going to find the haste. He waited for 430 who got greedy. Now going to get a burrow to the face. Net getting off every possible auto attack. The orbs come through. He doesn't have mana for a silence. Now he gets it off. They time it perfectly. They get the kill. The blink was just cooling down. That was amazingly well executed by Net.
Yeah, very
Fantastic
smart play for him to stand right here. Just, I guess you can't see me drawing the water, but right
I can,
out of
actually.
vision. I mean, that was just